Hello model railroaders, John back with the 16 by 8 river layout. As I was saying in the last video, I was going to start working on this side for landscape. I'm going to start plaster clothing around the river bank, the riverbed bank, whatever. And just to kind of show you what I'm doing, you can kind of see the thin black line. That's where the actual edge of the water will be. And then you can see around the pier, I have a little tiny mini island that I'm going to build up once I glue the pier down. So, but that won't be for a little while. And then of course in the back, the water will get extended out into paint. It's going to be into a painted scene, which I'm still working on, and that's a tough one. I'm going to probably for now just paint the trees flowing downhill all the way up and over. So then I'll have to fashion something to get a water effect to make it look like it's beyond. And I'll come up with something. It's something I'm usually pretty good about figuring out. But anyways, I've shaped my hills using some tape. I always use tape when I'm plaster clothing. And then what I plan to do is I'll probably do 2 layers of plaster cloth. And after that, I will sculpt mold a lot of these areas in here to build up berms. And then of course, along the water's edge, right in here, this is gonna be sculpt molded too. And you'll see that in this video, or in a video, I should say, what it's gonna look like when I'm done. I'm gonna continue like this part here all the way around this whole part over here. This is all the further I'm doing this, because what my goal is, like I was saying, is I want to get this side landscaped and paint the backdrop painted. That is my goal for this this spring and summer. So, and that's where it's going to end, is probably, I don't even know if I'll get on this side yet, but I will do up at least the painting up to somewhere in here, this area. But I don't think I'll do any scenery. I'm not sure. It just depends on how well everything goes. And I still have to make more trees. You guys seen how many I already have. So there's 2 full 16 by 4 foot things full. And I've got another batch I've started. So I'm gonna have 3 of these. I'll have about 600 trees so far. I'm working on taller ones right now. This is probably this area here, what you're seeing from the little tiny trees down there where that little yellow boxcar is, just to this area over here. That's gonna take, I'm sure, at least 350 trees, something like that. That's including the island down there, which is not even nowhere near ready to go. I don't know if I'm gonna worry about that part yet. I'm gonna, like I say, I'm landscaping this other side of the track. I'm not gonna do this side quite yet. I mean, this part by the bridge pier, this will get a little bit of just ground cover on it, but I won't be planting trees because I sort of will end up having to do the roadbed and things like that before I can do that. And I don't want trees in the way. Now I might put a few there just to look at, but see how it looks, but that's kind of where that's gonna end. So that's where I'm at. The track's out for a while and it's gonna stay out until I get something really steady going with my shapes and stuff like that. Could be at least a week. And once this all dries, I will probably start to hit it with some the Sculptamold. I got a lot of Sculptamold areas I got to do. And in the backs here on the waters going up, I've casted some rocks, and I want to start putting some of that kind of stuff in here as well. Glue it in and get that in there so I can get it painted. So I'll probably get them in there and not paint them right away, but at least I'll get them the ground cover color. So, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. There's not a whole lot happening. You'll see it in a few seconds, the clip of after I've sculpted them or plaster clothed it, so you can see what it looks like, and you'll be able to really get a sense of the shape of the whole thing. It really looks like a wreck right now, but trust me, it will be good. So anyways, so just stay tuned and you'll see a clip in another few seconds. For me, it'll be about, could be even almost a day. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back. I finished all the plaster clothing. I've cleaned up the mess, and it was quite extensive. And I cleaned up the pink off because I had so much drippage from water soaking the plaster. Anyways, I've got the shape the way I want. all the way down. I think it came out really nice. I ended this part of the berm area. I'm going to go all the way around with it, but for now I ended it actually mainly because I think I have to find some more plaster cloth. I kind of ran out. I know I have some, I just got to figure out where it is. So, but in these dark areas here, where you kind of see still a lot of the plaster holes showing through, that is going to be the berms and the berm edges. And I brought my diorama in that I made, that I put up on the video earlier, or earlier this winter. This stuff here, this is what the whole layout's going to be consisting of. I don't know what you actually even call those kind of rock face areas sticking out of the ground. I'm going to have a ton of those here. Basically, everywhere where you see it dark, all along the face of the river, all along back there, along a lot of this area is going to have a lot of that showing through. Now up high, of course, there'll be none because the trees are going to cover it. There's no point in doing all that. But along the lower part like this, it's going to go up really high. And that's what I'm going to have, that kind of thing all the way around the bottom of the layout. And for instance, like that big hill, it's going to go up quite extensively high. Now I'm going to detail it a little more. I'll put more detail into it, and then I might incorporate some actual molded rock that I've made into it. So, but that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. That has been the main focus of how I want to create this. You can see like the exposed dirt, the static grass, all that. And then of course this stuff, the textured. And I did that with Sculptamold, and I did it using I used a steel wire brush. That's how I kind of created that. Poked holes and punched it and scraped it, and it came out pretty nice. I'm going to try something I saw someone do on the internet. I did it and it was all white, if you go back and look at my video of how I made this thing. But I'm going to try and tint the Sculptamold that color. So that's, now that is actually 3 different colors. If you look at it close, you can kind of see it's got white in it, it's got a little red in it, and it's got a little tan in it. I'm going to just do it tan for now, and then I'll highlight it all later. But I got to plan this out quite well because it's going to be an extensive amount of those things throughout this entire layout. But I'm going to probably do this area relatively soon. And I'll do maybe a slight little minor video on it, what I do. Maybe I'll even show how to do one little small area of it. I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, that's where I'm at right now, and I think this came out perfect compared to for what I wanted. That's why I use the plaster. Then I can shape it exactly what I want. You've seen what the foam looked like. The foam was cool, but to fill all the gaps and cracks and things of the foam would have taken a ton of Sculptamold, and I've got a little 2-pound sack of it, and I'm going to try and make that last for the bulk of this. So there we are. And then once I get that done, I'm going to start working on the backdrop, and I might just start at that end. The backdrop's going to consist of 2 layers of silhouette treetops, pine style. And they're going to be a dark and a lighter. I might even throw in a third just to get some real dark at the lower base. And then I might make an attempt, especially in this area, to kind of go up high with just some kind of distant mountain. It would literally be just a gray mountain, grayish blue mountain with just a hint of detail on it. I'm not going to try and become a painter and paint a full mountain because I'm just not that skilled. Maybe I could learn, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So I'm not going to worry about that. But the trees are going to be the focal point of this whole thing anyways. So the hill will just be kind of a background scenery thing. So, and then once I do all that, I am going to have to add more clouds. A lot of these clouds are going to get covered. These high ones will not. But all this low stuff, that'll all be covered with trees. And going down here, kind of the same thing. So that's what we're looking at. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm building here and where I'm going with this thing. And again, that's going to follow suit all the way around this whole layout. All these walls up against the bottom, below the bridge, below the road, below the train. That's all going to be this same sort of feature right in here. So that's, I'll just show you once again up close again. That's what it's going to be. And that was what my intentions was. Yeah, I still got some work to do on this side, but for now, it's all about this, and that this is my spring project through part of summer, and that's probably as far as I'm going to get. So anyways, I just want to thank you for watching, and stay tuned for another video on the sculpt to mold process, and we'll see how that turns out. Thanks.